Again. Well, I just reopened the file that I closed last night, showing y'all how to do some of the basics, making layers and how to make selections and how to bring images in files together to create a new image. We're right now I'm making a self-portrait with objects that give me joy and ultimately power. Give me the ultimate power, which would be ice cream, in case you didn't know. But anyway, as I opened up my tutorial, or this file that I started on yesterday, I noticed that up here at the top, the files that I had brought in and put together to make this one image had disappeared up here. That's because when you see the files up here at the top where I'm pointing, that isn't the same as your layers that are coming down here. So let me demonstrate again. I kind of went over this our last video, but I want to do it one more time. So if I go File, Open, and this time I want to give my character some glasses. So I am going to bring in this image that I found. Keep all of the factory settings, and I'm gonna give my my character some of these sunglasses that I found. So you can see that up here at the top, these are two separate files. This is one file and this is another file. And what happens after I worked on this last night and I had brought this file into this file, the file that I just uploaded, and I brought it into this file and made it a layer. I saved it, and when I saved it, Gimp automatically just got rid of the file that I didn't save. So that I just wanted to bring that to your attention so you don't get confused when you see these files line up here at the top. Because right now, I'm going to just do what I did yesterday. I'm going to go into, this is the file that I want to bring in to and make another layer with, right? So I'm just going to go to this. I'm going to go to go to Edit, not Select. Come up here, the Gimp. It says Gimp 210 at the top. I go to Edit, and I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to come over here to the file where I want to bring that image into, and I'm going to go Edit. I'm going to go Paste. And the command keys are, and you can see it's a floating selection. We went through that yesterday as well. And to make this actual layer, I'm going to come in down here and make it a layer like so. And I can turn the eyeball off so I don't get distracted by it. But ultimately what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up to the top. And I'm going to delete all of this area around the sunglasses so I can give my character some sunglasses. But we'll do that in a little bit. Right now I'm just going to turn it off so you don't see it. I just wanted to review that in case you got confused as to what was happening up here and why things were showing up here, and then what happens after you end up saving it. Basically, Gimp just gets rid of it. So if you haven't brought in your file into the document, into the file that you're ultimately working on, then Gimp's just going to erase it. So don't worry about it. Anyway, okay, so I've repeated myself several times. I like to do that, to make sure that everybody understands what I'm talking about. I like to say things over and over again, especially to help beginners and kids. It might take a little extra time to catch on, and that's okay. Especially for those of us that have a traumatic brain injury, that's a big deal to understand things. So I like to go slow for those of us that are dealing with some recovery in one way or another. So anyway, today, one of the things I want to do is, I was looking at this picture earlier, and I noticed that there are some things I want to do. I want to change the color of her lipstick from this fuchsia to more of a red color. And I think I want to make her tongue a lot bigger and make it more cartoony, and it'll be really fun if the tongue like reaches out kind of distorted. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to click on the mouth layer, and you can see the that where it's selected. You can see down here. And I'm going to try the technique that I worked on yesterday when I selected around the tongue. So let's go back up here to the free select tool that is basically the same thing as in Photoshop. And I'm just going to do this little selection. And you can see I'm really, you know what? This isn't a very good selection. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to select. I'm going to go none. I'm going to reselect it. And I'm going to make my image a little bit bigger so I can work with it. So I'm going to go to view and I'm going to come down to zoom. There's no command keys for me to make my zoom. Like I can't do like command or control plus or minus like I can when I'm doing with Adobe. So I have to go to view, zoom, and then I'll use, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so I can see. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to select the tongue and I want to make it bigger. So I've got the free select tool or the, let's see, what is it called? Oh, it's not giving me my name. You know what it's called.
I just told you what it was called. And I'm going to just make this around like so. And I just select her tongue. Okay. Now I'm working with a trackpad, and I'm doing this with one hand. You can't see it. You can't see me, but right now my left arm is in a sling. So I had to let go because I couldn't. The best thing, this is what I like, see I can move it around, but I can pick it up. And I'm not dragging. I'm not pushing down. I'm just using my finger across on the trackpad. I'm just like moving my finger across on the trackpad. And then I can stop. And then when I pull my hand up, it makes the yellow dot. And I can come back down. Oh wait, now I'm moving it, so I'm going to go back. So basically, I'm not keeping my thumb down. I'm not pressing down while I'm on the trackpad. I just put, like I'll move. I've got my finger pulled up, and I'm just kind of gently moving my hand on the trackpad. So it's a lot easier. And then I'll click to make an anchor point, like so. It's really easy to move around if you're limited to your movement. And now I've made marching ants. So I'm going to come up here and go to image.
No, I'm sorry, view, view, zoom, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to go to 25% so I can zoom out and I can see what's going on. So now I've got it selected and I'm going to go to, and if you recall from yesterday, I went to select and I'm going to make a float. And so I'm going to pull it up off the layer and you can see down here, it's floated off the layer and I'm going to make its own layer. So if you come down to the mouth, you can see that that's how I've cut it off. I floated it and then I made its own layer. I really like this technique. So now I'm going to go to this, to the layer, to the floated layer. Let's double click it and call it tongue. So now it has its own, I think I might have misspelled tongue, but it don't matter right now. Don't matter. So, okay, so I've got the tongue selected. Let's go over here and use this trusty Unified Transform tool. I really love this tool.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It gives me, I can just kind of do everything. I'm going to make my tongue really gigantic. And you can see that some of it, it's kind of messed up over her teeth. It's kind of coming over her teeth. And I'm just going to come in and erase it. Use that eraser. I showed you how to do that yesterday. She's got a crazy tongue. She's all about the ice cream. Yeah. So, now, I got that. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to select the move tool. I select any tool, and that's going to make it stick, make the transform stick. Now I'm going to come in and kind of erase some of this so you can see the teeth, because it's gone over the teeth a little bit. So I don't know if you remember yesterday, but I went, I do control or command on a PC, it's command click, on a Mac it's control click. And I want to make sure that add alpha channel is grayed out. If it's not, then you need to add an alpha channel. And that's the way you can use your eraser tool. So I'm going to come down to the eraser tool, and I think I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, isn't it? Now, you also might recall that I like this eraser tool because it's got, like, sharp edges. It's not, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Just push it down a little bit. And I'm going to come in here and see if I can erase and see the teeth a little bit more. So it looks like she's, if I erase over it, I can just go Command Z or Control Z. That Command key does work. And just kind of come in and make her teeth show through a little bit more. So that's neat. That's a good. Let's see. There we go. So make sure her mouth kind of goes over. So this way it looks like the tongue is in the mouth and not just attached, you know, like so. A little bit there. There we go. So now, we have a giant tongue coming out of the mouth, so that's how I transformed it. Now I want to come in and add the sunglasses, and we did this yesterday too. Basically I'm going to select the sunglasses, and again I'm going to use my trusty, I like the free select tool, because this is a great way to just get the majority of what I want to take off the background. I can just kind of quickly get that off. So this is what I selected, and again I selected it, remember I go back to edit, I'm sorry, I go to select, float. So I floated it up, and now I'm going to make its own layer. So now it's on its own layer. I can come back to the sunglass copy, so you can see where I cut it out with that float. I'm going to go back to the sunglass copy, and I'm going to click the little X, delete this layer. Bam, it's deleted. And now I'm going to come in. Let's make sure that it's on a floated layer, and I'm going to control click, or command click, and there's the alpha channel, just making sure that I've got my alpha channel, double checking. And then I'm going to come over here and get my eraser tool. Where's my eraser tool? There it is. And let's make it bigger again. Go to view, and come into zoom, and make my zoom in a little bit more. Okay. And now I can come in and just clean it up like so. And we did all this yesterday, but I'm just kind of giving you a review. I just wanted to add some more stuff to our character, to my character.
To my hero self. This makes me feel good, especially when we're all cooped up with this pandemic going on. It's such a pain. Right. Okay, cool. So you can see now that I've cleaned up the glasses, and we'll move them around and position them a little bit more. But I also want to show you another tool that can help with this selection. You see around here on the mouth how it's jagged, and this is from me erasing. I found the smudge tool. This is the smudge tool. Gimp smudge tool works the same as Photoshop smudge tool, but I can just come around here to the edges of the mouth. See, I've selected the layer mouth, and I'm just going to come around to the edges of the mouth and kind of smooth it off. Smooth around the edges, so that kind of gets rid of the jaggedy parts that I had selected, and it kind of blends it into the background a little bit more. I think makes it look a little more like it belongs, like it's part of the, kind of smooth it in, like it doesn't look like it's just a tacked on, image, that it's just like, we just cut stuff out and stuck it together. It looks like it actually belongs. See, I just kind of smudged it in like so. Works the same as Photoshop smudge tool. Works the same. Lot of similarities in this software to Adobe. So and I'm going to come back up here to the tongue, because there's also some issues with the tongue kind of being jaggedy where I selected it. I'm going to just smooth it out a little, kind of make it look like it belongs. Now see, I kind of smudged it a little too far there. You see how it's just kind of ghosty looking at the tip. I'm going to come back with my eraser tool and just kind of smooth it out. There we go. Looks nice and clean, a little more realistic. But that's how you can come around and clean some of this stuff up. So now I have cleaned everything up. I'm going to come back to zoom, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see some more. Okay, the glasses I cleaned up and cleaned around. I kind of want to move them, I think. Yeah, right now it's a floating. Yeah, let's change the name to glasses. I didn't do that. It still had the name floating layer. So after you made the floating layer and you've actually made it, tagged it onto made it a real layer, Gimp doesn't automatically name it, real layer. You're going to have to come in and, name it. So I'm sure you've already figured that out. So now I'm going to use my move tool, and I'm going to move my glasses to, there we go. How's that? This is me on the inside. This ice cream gives me power. Now you know the truth of the real me. So I've moved it. We've got everything looking clean. I can take out the background if I want. But you know what? Instead of worrying about that right now, let's change. I want to change the lips to, let's change her lipstick color. So let's go to mouth. And remember, I took the tongue out, remember, and we just made its own layer. So basically everything I do in the mouth, it's going to be the mouth and the teeth right now. So I'm going to go to mouth, and I'm going to come into Gimp, and you can't see it in this video, but up here at the top, it says colors. And I'm going to just go to, let's see, there's a lot of different ways, a lot of different things I could change. I think I'm going to do color, let's see, hue and saturation. Yeah, hue and saturation. So I go to colors and I go to hue and saturation. And this is really cool because I can choose the color that I want to add more of or take out less of. So let's just see if we can add a little more red. And I'm just going to play around with it. And you can see, oh, it makes her lips look green. Right now, everything is focusing on the mouth. The tongue, remember, is a separate layer. So I'm going to see if I can take the magenta out. And I'm going to bring that brightness. Let's see if I can bring that down.
A little bit. And I'm just going to play around with it. And as you can see, as I'm working through this, it shows up on, I get a preview on the actual real-time preview. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So this way I can change my colors if I want to actually move around a color harmony, or if I'm just, you know, if something doesn't, if I've found photographs and they're not really, they don't match the colors. It's like the photographs might look good together, but if you might want to change the color so that they work more consistently, like the color harmony and stuff works better. So I'm going to bring this yellow down, see if I can bring that down. And just bring it down a little bit. I can also use the arrows. I want to bring it down that way too. Bring the lightness. And I'm just making it really subtle. And I want to bring this up. So I was trying to get the yellow off of it so I could make this a little more redder. Like so. I want to bring that purple down. The purple down here. So I'm going to bring, let's see if I bring it down. It's very subtle. So you can
And try your split view, and I can see where I was before and what I've done so far. And you can see the red as I'm adding more red. I can add the red like so. Ooh, too much. I made it yellowy. I can add, let's see, with the magenta. And right now I'm fooling around with the hue. Let's see what the lightness. Saturation. Oh, wow, that's crazy pink. I like that a lot. That's made it really stand out. Made the lips really stand out. Let's try to add some blue. See, now that's taken it, you know, made that lipstick truly pop in the highlights. Let's try the overlap. See if we add some overlap, if these colors are going to blend a little bit better. So let's see, I'm going to add 25 to really get it to blend. And then maybe do some, look at the shadows and highlights. And I'm going to just come in and bring down the highlight, and let's see how that works. On the mouth. Yeah, see, I've kind of darkened it a little bit so that it looks like it, just for this photograph, I think that kind of makes it look a little more realistic. It makes it look like, ooh, and look, I kind of darkened up her tooth. That kind of looks a little more realistic. And basically that's what I'm doing on, you know, I'm changing the original photograph just so it would look like it blends a little bit more in the picture. So I can go okay. And then, speaking of blending, I think I might come in with my blend tool and actually do something about that, what I just messed up on her tooth, because that was kind of gnarly. And I think I'm going to take the white down here around her lips, and I can pull that off too. And I'm just going to go back to my eraser tool. And remember, I've still got an alpha channel, so it works. That's important to remember. You got to get that alpha channel. Wait, I don't like that Command Z. And I'm just going to pull it out. Just pull off some of that white that was left on the bottom of the lip in the photograph. So that makes it a little more like it fits in a little more. Let's go in and clean up the teeth some more with the smudge tool, like so. And that's where I changed the color, where I brought down the highlights, remember, just now. So so I think that looks a lot more realistic, and it looks like it's you know, that all of these pictures belong together and they've made one hero. So anyway, so now let's go ahead and save it. First of all, you can you're going to go save as, save and save as. That's going to save it as an actual Gimp, a native Gimp document. So if I go save as, you can see I'm going to get an XCF document, and that's just a Gimp file so that I can keep coming back in and editing it. And remember, at the beginning of the video, I told you that if there was anything that I had brought in and copied and pasted up here, that once I saved this full document, that would go away. So it's already been gone. I've already closed this document and reopened it, you can see. And so all the files that I brought into it are not listed up here at the top anymore. But if I just go save as, then it's going to be an XCF document. If I want to make a JPEG or a PNG file, I'm going to go to File, Export. I'm going to go, let's go Export As. If I go just plain export, then it's gonna come back to the same file. And you can see I named it Ice Cream Lady, and it has the XCF. I'm going to take the XCF off. And so it's given me the option. It's only given me one option to PNG. For some reason, sometimes it'll just give me one option to give it as a JPEG. Either one of these file types is fine, especially for the discussion threads that I'm having with these in response to these videos that I'm making. So either way, a JPEG or a PNG is just fine, and I can see your work and help you make it better. Okay, so I'm going to just save it as a PNG, export, and then it's going to come right and it'll say these are all of the options that I have. I'm just going to go ahead and take the factory settings and just say export, and it's going to export the file for me. Okay, and so as you can see, I did come back and take that obnoxious blue background out, and it ultimately, when after I exported it as a PNG, it came out white. And I can see some of the issues of where I still needed to pick up some stuff that I needed to delete around my glasses and some areas. So I'll come back into my character later when I put my background in. And that's what I'll do. I'll come in and clean up around these areas. But for the most part, it's pretty much done. You can see where I've made this in the last couple of tutorials, how I've made this character. Now it's your turn. You try to make one too. Save a PDF or a PNG and show me your work. I'd love to see where you're at so far. And then basically I'll show you how to put a background in, and we'll also put I'll show you how to make a natural shadow, and we can do all of this in Gimp. Here's a quick tip. As you're looking for your photographs to make your character, it's a good idea to have the lighting in the same direction in all of your photographs. So you can see in this picture, but for the ice cream and the tongue, the lighting is coming from the same direction. So the shadow would be here. I could run into problems if I had highlights coming from the left and highlights coming from the right, because that wouldn't give me I wouldn't be able to make a natural looking shadow. So keep that in mind as you're looking for your photographs to build your character, okay? So that's just a heads up on that. Anyway, I look forward to seeing your work, and I'm heading off to the freezer to see if I have any ice cream left in my freezer so that I can find my true hero, Ice Cream Lady, and I will talk to you later.